Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome to the video, welcome to the channel, welcome to Post to Post. My name is Neil. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are looking at jersey concepts, and these are jersey concepts that you've technically seen in the past because we've already looked at this designer, and the ones that we looked at were the home versions, the dark versions. This time we see the away versions. So the designs are similar, but technically they are new jerseys, but they're not at the same time. So if you saw that previous video, you'll probably really enjoy this one because some of these in this list, or some of these in this set, are very, very good, and I can't wait to show you guys. But this is not in a reaction video. That first video was. This is a ranking. I've already seen these because I saw the ones before, and I've ranked these. So if you haven't seen that previous video, I wouldn't say you necessarily have to go watch it first, but you know, if you're new and you like this video, please go check that one out. I uploaded it maybe 2 weeks ago, and I have a whole playlist on the channel that is just jersey concepts. So if you go to the main page, go to playlists, you'll find that video there, and just look for the name Trapezoid Concepts. There was the designer today in the title. That should be in the title. So thank you for submitting these Trapezoid Concepts, and let's get into it. There's no other way to really do it than to just get into it. So 32 here, 32 to 1. That's how we're going to do it. My least favorite to favorite. Starting off with number 32, the St. Louis Blues. Now, if you have watched that previous video, you would have probably predicted that I would have ranked that jersey in white, which is this one, pretty low, and no surprises here. I just don't personally like this one, just for the kind of the top half of the jersey. I understand the relation of the angle and that kind of design. It's kind of almost reversed from the alternate and the reverse retro, which is kind of implemented at the bottom of the jersey, and instead it's implemented at the top, but using their traditional colors. But to me, it just doesn't work. It feels awkward. It feels out of place. It almost feels like two different jerseys put into one. So for that reason, I had to rank it last. Number 31, the Colorado Avalanche, which is gonna maybe blow some people's mind. But there's one specific aspect of this jersey that reminds me of one of the only Avalanche jerseys that I do not like, and it's the Stadium Series jersey. And it's very apparent on this specific one. Now, what I'm talking about is that jersey is kind of split at the bottom of the logo, and it's meant to look like it's one big cohesive piece, but it's actually not. It's a different material where the logo actually is. And this person has represented that there, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people love that. It's all subjective, right? There's no right or wrong. But to me, it just feels completely out of place. They feel like two different objects, even though they're supposed to look like one singular kind of shape going up. And that's really what it comes down to for me for this one. I know that's a really personal thing, and it's no one else likely cares at that level of detail that I do, but it is something that I really don't like about that Stadium Series jersey. Number 30, the Montreal Canadiens. This might shock a couple people too, because if you're new, hey, the Montreal Canadiens are my favorite team, and I try to be as objective as possible when ranking the teams that I really like, and objectively, I'm just not really a fan of this one. I think it does a good job at representing their history, but it feels, I don't know, it just feels a little bit awkward. Now, one thing that he or she, has done very good is at the bottom put the helmet color, the glove color, the pants color, and socks color. So while this is not a whole uniform ranking, I do get to see kind of the foresight here of what he thinks the other elements of the uniform will look like. And I will say that the gloves and the pants would complement this very well. So I kind of want to see it in a uniform, like a full uniform template. But as a jersey itself, it's not working for me. Number 29, I put the Arizona Coyotes. The split kind of striping on the arm I find quite distracting, and that off-white color is usually one of my favorite things that jersey concept designers do recently, is implement that off-white color. But for whatever reason, I'm not sure if it's the specific shade or just the way that it's utilized here, because it's split up on that stripe, it just feels awkward to me, just slightly out of place. But I really appreciate the designers like taking a leap of faith and just trying something new, because it's easy to play it safe. And it's when it comes to jersey concepts, that rule applies even more. It is so easy to play it safe with jersey concepts. So even though not really a big fan of this, I really respect the designer for trying to think outside the box and come up with this. Number 28, the Minnesota Wild. I've kind of gone back and forth on this one, and I think it comes down to the collar for me. You've got green shoulders, you've got a red piece around the logo, or the laces, sorry, and then you've got yellow making up that big thick piece in the collar. Yeah, there is yellow in the rest of the jersey. You can see it in the logo, but it feels unbalanced. There's no yellow at the bottom of the jersey, so it feels, again, maybe it's slightly awkward. I think if the collar, just a real simple change, if that collar was either white or potentially red to see it come up, or green, I think I would like this jersey a lot more. Number 27, we've got the Buffalo Sabres, and that is an incredible logo, and Trapezoid Concepts has done a really, really special thing, and that's not just created a concept, and not just put a logo that actually exists, but he's literally replicated the actual texture of that logo, because that is the best thing about it, the logo. If you see it up close, if you know anything about it, you'll know that the attention to detail that goes into it is amazing. So the fact that he or she replicated that on here, on this concept, went through that work to put in that level of detail on that detailed logo, or found one that would look correctly on here, is impressive. I really appreciate that. There's even texture on some of the striping as well, some of those thin striping. But the yellow shade feels slightly off to me. It feels almost too mustardy. You guys know I like mustard, but yeah, the shade feels off to me, and the lines they're too frequent, I think, and it just adds too much to the jersey, too much to kind of focus on and look at. Number 26, the New York Rangers. I'm slightly on board with this, other than the middle section of the bottom of the jersey. If we just remove that kind of shape of blue at the bottom and just stick with the mirrored arms, I think that's a really interesting idea, and I quite like it here. It looks really good with the white, but at the bottom, having it slanted, it makes the jersey off balance. So I would personally just remove that off the bottom, and this may be a top 10 jersey for me. Number 25, the Toronto Maple Leafs. The dark version of this was quite interesting. I think I might actually like that one more than this one, but the T that comes up, or the T that is formed on the shoulders, I find it very out of place on this jersey, and I'm not sure if it's because of the collar that's also blue, and it just feels quite busy on the shoulders, and that's really what it comes down to. Number 24, the Anaheim Ducks. I love that shade of teal or green that was chosen. It's almost like a neon mint green or something. It's fantastic. But the shape on the shoulders reminds me of a football uniform, or like football shoulder pads without the football jersey on or something. There's just, I don't know, just something about it. I don't know if it's the shape or the way that it's colorized or what, but I'm definitely not on board with the shoulders. But the rest of the jersey is quite interesting. I don't know if that green, that specific shade of green, works with the white, though. I definitely liked the darker version of this more. Number 23, the Ottawa Senators. This is pretty decent. I actually, this is the part of the video where I could say that, yeah, I kind of like everything from here on out. And it's difficult to do these videos, and I could say nice things about all the jerseys, but my intention here is to give constructive criticism and feedback, not just, I try and say some positive things, I try and say some negative things throughout the video, because I know that I work as a graphic designer myself. It is good to get constructive feedback as long as it's done respectfully, and I feel like I do that. So I usually talk negatively in the first half of the video, because I always start from least favorite to favorite, but then you'll see me morph into positivity, and this is kind of where that section happens. And I like this one. It's not my favorite Senators concept I've ever seen, but I like that old school logo in the middle. I kind of like those gold stripes around the numbers, even though it clashes a little bit because it's the same number and the numbers almost get lost slightly, but I kind of like that. I don't know why. It feels a bit low. I guess they move it up, but still, that's a really interesting concept. Number 22, the Nashville Predators. This was neat. I think the bottom of the jersey is fantastic on the sleeves and in the middle. I actually really like the shoulders. I like the number. He even got the texture of the design on the specific numbers for Nashville on there. That is great. But this logo doesn't work for me here on this away white jersey. It's an odd logo for me. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and it's never really in between for me. So as a whole, the jersey, really good, but the logo, yeah. 21, the Columbus Blue Jackets. This one is, it has potential, but it's also a little gimmicky at the same time. But I think if they, I think if this was in a uniform, maybe kind of like the Montreal one, if this was in a uniform, there's a lot of potential here. But I like this one a lot more than the Montreal Canadiens one, even though they are a bit similar. I think that shape is very representative of, or what could be their brand. It could be complementary. It could be a throwback historic jersey. It is similar to their alternate, but even less modern than that one. If this feels like, if the Columbus Blue Jackets were an original 6 team and they were bringing back one of their original 6 jerseys maybe in the first 20 years that they were in the league, and they came out with this one, I'd be like, yeah, that probably looks like something that they wore when the team was originally created 100 years ago. So they could play around with this idea, but like I said, it's a little gimmicky. Number 20, the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, I do kind of like some aspects of this jersey, and I don't really want to talk negatively about it because I don't necessarily really dislike anything about it. But the more that I look at Carolina's away jersey with Canes coming down, I was not a fan of that when that came out. But the more I see it, the more that I really, really appreciate it, and I don't have it in my jersey collection, and I wish I did. It's going to be the one that I may look into getting sometime soon. But I ask myself the question, is this jersey better than the real one that exists now? And that's what I did here, and the answer was no. So I don't like this more than the current away one. So for that reason, I had to put it in my bottom 15. Number 19, the Detroit Red Wings. This was tricky because I'm a big fan of the way that Detroit does their away jersey. Their home jersey is like fine, it's average. It shouldn't technically change, but to me, their away jersey is perfection. I absolutely think it's one of the best jerseys ever in the history of the NHL. I really, really like it, and I didn't used to, but I've really come to appreciate it. Even in the last 6 months, really have come to appreciate it. And kind of like the Carolina one, I don't like this one more than the current one. But individually, I still really like it, and that's why it's kind of mid-pack. But yeah, Detroit fans, what do you think of this? Number 18, the Boston Bruins. This one is old school. So this is kind of like an original jersey, and it works because the Boston Bruins are original 6 team. Now you got the meth bear, the meme bear on the arms, which is funny. Now he is on the elbow rather, not the shoulder. So I think that placement is slightly a little awkward because the jersey is going to bend there. So I don't realistically think that patch or that logo would go there unless it was screen printed. So you might have to move that up a little bit or something, but obviously that would play around with the striping. But this does have some potential. I really like the numbers on the shoulders. Number 17, the Calgary Flames. I have gone back and forth on this one. I had it in my top 10 for a bit. I had it in my bottom 10. I rank things, and then a couple days later, I usually come back and re-rank them and stuff. I don't like to make quick decisions. I'm a little obsessive about it. And I just kind of ended up putting it in the middle because I couldn't decide. There's things I really like about it. There's things I can't like. I find like the numbers being red clash with the yellow stripes underneath, but they match well with this part of the shoulder, but it doesn't meld right. So I don't know. I can't figure this one out. Number 16, the Philadelphia Flyers. So you would have seen me comment on the shoulders in the previous video, the home version of this video, if you watched that, about the frying pan with the egg on it on the shoulders. But it's because it's colorized differently here, I don't get that impression, and I think it looks actually pretty good. I could 100% see the Flyers using this. This feels quite modern, and I suspect that the Flyers may come out with an alternate that is a little bit more modern than their typical jerseys. So this is, kind of plausible. Now, if you guys want to come up with a bunch of concepts like this person and send them in, you can go to sportstemplates.net, use code post2post, save yourself 10%, get this exact template. If you've got Photoshop, you're looking to play around with your creativity, you can get this template. You can get other templates on sports templates. I've actually challenged the community to come up with some goalie mask templates. Now there's the old school goalie mask, which is actually a free template. You can go right now and get it for free. But then there's the more modern mask, and I would love someone to create an entire set throughout the NHL, 32 masks or 31 masks, and send that in for me to react to. or rank or review. That would be a blast. So that is my challenge to you guys, challenge to the community. If anyone wants to do that, I would love it. And there's other templates on the site as well, not just hockey. There's baseball templates, there's football templates, there's all kinds. So check out sportstemplates.net. Use code POST2POST and save yourself 10%. Number 15, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Look at this jersey. This has like really old school vibes to it just because it's so awkwardly colorized. And I don't mean that to sound offensive, but it is literally just, you took a line and you put it in the middle of the jersey and you slapped a logo on the front. And that's, you know, it is something that you might see 100 years ago. Today, or we'll say this came out 10 years ago, people will be like, this is really lazy. But the NHL fans and the community in general have really morphed into respecting simple jerseys and retro jerseys. And this is definitely simple. This feels retro, and although it is odd, I think it might actually work. I don't know about the blue stripe on the bottom. I might remove that, but I think the cleanliness, the cleanness of this jersey has a lot going for it. Number 14, the Winnipeg Jets. A bold option here, a bold decision to take a really, really light gray and pair it with a really light blue at the same time. They are complementary, but when you also pair it with the white, it is a lot of bright shades and bright colors all at once. And it's, I don't want to say hard on the eyes. It's not necessarily hard on the eyes, but it is just, it's unusual. It's definitely unusual, but I think this would match their brand very well because it's modern, but yet classic at the same time. So Trapezoid Designs, or Concepts, sorry, has done a pretty decent job here. I'm still a little iffy on the shades specifically. That's why it's kind of mid-pack, but this definitely has potential. Number 13, the New Jersey Devils. And I still think it kind of looks like a track and field on the shoulders, kind of, rounding the corner basically. But I like the implementation of green here. And most concepts I see where the concept designer has used green and red as their original colors from 1982 or whenever it was, I usually don't like them. And I can maybe count on one hand the amount of concepts from New Jersey that I've seen using these colors that I like. And this one I might have to add to the list because there's just something about it. I'm not sure on the shoulders, but the rest of the jersey I think is perfect. I like the repetitive striping, the thin striping in the green section and on the arms and on the bottom of the jersey. I like that. Number 12, I put the Vegas Golden Knights, and I believe I ranked this very high in the other video, not to spoil it, sorry, but I feel it's not as strong in the white version. It's still nice. It is still a very almost personal design. There's a lot of attention to detail and team branding with this jersey, and I really respect that and I appreciate it. It is different. You have untypical shoulders that come down beyond that seam right here, down into the middle of the jersey, continuing the shape and the color down. We don't see that in the NHL, so it's really cool to see that in a concept, and it'll happen eventually. There's going to be a team that does it. That Stadium Series Colorado Avalanche jersey slightly does it because it's a shape that comes from the bottom and kind of comes all the way up, but this is done properly, and I appreciate this one. Number 11, the Chicago Blackhawks. I just like how, it's going to sound stupid, okay? I know it sounds stupid. I like how white this is. Of course it's white. It's the entire thing is an away series, Neil. Of course it's white, but it's so white. It reminds me of the Winter Classic jersey. But the logo has so much white in it itself, and there's nothing on the shoulders. The numbers stand out wonderfully in red. It complements the black and the logo. This is a very symmetrical jersey. I just like how white it is. I know that sounds stupid. Number 10, I put the Islanders. Love the numbers on the shoulders here, colorized the way that they are. Striping down below, I'm not sure. I could hit or miss, but I just love the top half of this jersey. Like from the nips up, this is the perfect Islanders jersey. There's nothing negative from the nips up. It's perfect. Number 9, we've got the LA Kings. And I'm still not sure about the bubbles in the striping, but I can see this working. It is an odd jersey. I can see them kind of bringing it out, and I can see jersey collectors like myself not necessarily loving it, but wanting it in the collection because it is so polarizing. It is so completely different, and it might just work. It's a little memey, but it might just work. Number 8, I put the Oilers. Very interesting shade of blue with that shade of orange. They don't really contrast well. The Oilers font itself is slightly hard to read in the logo, but I think from a distance, these colors would complement each other very well. And I can just picture the entire uniform because he's got the colors down here. And I know this isn't a uniform ranking, but there's a lot going on here, and I like it. Number 7, the Seattle Kraken. This, again, reminds me of kind of the ocean. I see a lot of these Seattle concepts that kind of mimic the way that the ocean would be. So the bottom is blue, which is sea level where it stops, and then you got the white sky or the blue sky sometimes. And I think it works. I think it's interesting. It's maybe slightly odd not seeing any teal in the bottom of the jersey. There's so much in the top, and there's so much dark blue in the bottom. It might be okay to kind of balance the jersey a little bit by adding some of that teal at the bottom of the jersey, maybe just a slight stripe right along the bottom. I'd have to see it to kind of think about it. Number 6, I put the Florida Panthers. I love the fact that the state flag was represented in the background. I think that could definitely work. Now, here's a really interesting exception because, like I said earlier, I asked myself, is this better than their current home jersey or away jersey or whatever I'm looking at? And the answer here is actually no. I prefer the current away jersey, but I think the Florida Panthers away jersey is the nicest in the league. It's number 1 for me. So while the answer is no, I still really like this one. So for that, I had to put it in the top 10. And so it's not better than the real one, but I wouldn't say it's close. That one's so far ahead, but I like this one a lot. Number 5, the Washington Capitals. Here's where I think I'll probably lose a couple of people. I know someone's going to look in the middle of that jersey and think, that is way too much striping, Neil. You are on some drugs. But I am not on drugs, actually. I just like this jersey. That's really what it comes down to. I like the nostalgic Capital jerseys that I've seen in the past. I think they do a tremendous job. Their Winter Classic jersey, the Reebok one, is one of the nicest in the league, and it reminds me of this one in a way. So thumbs up for here. Number 4, the Vancouver Canucks. This is probably one of the best white Canucks concepts that I've seen submitted. And guys, I've done like over 75 of these videos. 75 times 31 or 32 is a ridiculous amount of jerseys that I've had to look at in the past year and a half. And this is in the top for Vancouver and for the away version. So I think it's pretty much perfection. I don't think I'd actually change anything about it. I would love if they had this in real life, and I would buy it instantly. Number 3, I put the Dallas Stars, and I just liked how different it was, but it also played really well with the brand. They've used the logo in the middle. There's stars on the arms. They're sticking with the same color combination here. It's clean at the same time. There's not much going on the shoulders. They've got a big star on the side, and while they haven't technically used the star on the side, they've used a big giant star on their jersey in the past, so I like that. But it is quite weighted to the left side of the jersey or our right as we're looking at it. So there's issues, I guess you could say, but I still really like it. I think this would work well in their brand. Number 2, I put the Pittsburgh Penguins. The shoulders are awesome. I love all the lines in the jersey. I don't know if this one's an odd one. I don't know if people are going to agree or disagree here. It's such a different jersey. It might be I love it or hate it situation. I don't know if there's any in-between people. If you're an in-between person on this jersey, please let me know in the comments. But I don't really know how to gauge your guys' reaction on this one. But I like it a lot. I just like how different it is. I like how he or she utilized the lines coming out of the logo in the middle and extended that basically logo to the rest of the jersey. That is just such a fantastic decision. On the other side, keeping the lines at the same horizontal plane at the top of the logo and mimicking the same angle coming down. Just fantastic. And then representing some bridge activity on these shoulders. Number 1, I put the San Jose Sharks. And after getting the 30th anniversary jersey in an unboxing video, if you haven't seen it, I posted it yesterday. Go check it out. I really appreciate gray. in jerseys, in San Jose jerseys now. There's something about, I saw it in person, and I'm like, this is way nicer in person than it is in photos, than it is on the ice. I have a new appreciation for an increase in the usage of gray in San Jose Sharks jerseys. And so when I was doing my final ranking earlier this morning of this set, I looked back and I'm like, wait a minute. I have San Jose ranked way too low, and I think I had maybe around 8 or 9. I'm like, this is number one. This is a number one jersey. I like the gray in here. The gray utilized in the logo in the middle. The background's changed a little bit. The gray on the sleeves, the gray in the logo up here. The small gray little piece up by the neck. I'm a huge fan of this jersey, and it's all because I unboxed the 30th anniversary jersey yesterday, and it's growing on me. I might be in that honeymoon phase with that jersey, so maybe if I were to rank these, in a month from now, things would be a little bit different. But I really like this one. So, Trapezoid Concepts, thank you so much for sending those in. I really appreciate it, guys. Let me know down below in the comment section which one was your favorite, which was your least favorite. Make sure you give some feedback to Trapezoid Concepts, and remember, do it respectfully. Like I said, you can give your opinion, and it be, I guess, technically critical or negative, but you can do it in a respectful way. You can give actual constructive feedback where that person or that designer could take it and run with it and maybe fix something in the future, or they can respectfully disagree with you. And the community is really good about that. So thanks, guys, for being respectful with your feedback. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below because we're talking not only jersey concepts on this channel, but current NHL talk. Lots of playoff talk happening. We've got series previews coming out. We've got bracket predictions coming out. What else we got going on? I'm doing some wrap-up videos, kind of report card videos on a couple of teams. I'm not going to do the whole league. I don't have time for that. So I basically cherry-picked like 8 teams that surprised me this year. So I'm going to talk about them. You're going to see those roll out probably maybe a week from now, a little less than a week from now. So keep an eye out on the channel for those. So thank you, guys. Hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you soon. Adios.